We feel amazing about this being our first episode, and thank you all for listening.
And if anything resonates with you, then please like and subscribe, share, and all those other things. Thank you, guys.
I hope you enjoyed the episode. Bye.
Bye.
I think most people are so entrapped in their mind that they don't even know they're entrapped. And that's the line of Gurdjieff that I quoted the other day. He said, "You don't realize your predicament, you are in prison. But if you would escape from prison, the first thing you must realize is that you're in prison. If you think you're free, no escape is possible." It's a far out image. Most people they don't identify with the little blue space. They don't identify with the part of them that sees the predicament of the rest of them. They are just so busy being the reactive part of themselves with their righteousness and their fear and their determination and their pity and all those kind of human emotions. They're so reactive, and so it fills all the space, and they never stop to reflect. They wouldn't think of meditating or reflecting. And they get up, and from the minute they get up, as they wake up, their mind starts to run its numbers, and they keep getting into the reactive thing. Oh, I've got to go to the toilet. I smell coffee. Oh, I've got to get up. I must remember to do my laundry. Oh, I forgot to call so-and-so. Oh, I want to sleep 10 more minutes. Oh, it's warm in that corner. What was I dreaming? And the mind starts, and it just feeds this continuous brrr, like one of those hammers in the street. And it just goes all day until finally you just fall into exhausted sleep at night and then start the next day. And it's just mechanically running off, and there's no space in it at all. So that I think what is required, first of all, is the beginning of what's called awakening, which means the recognition that you are in prison. That's what awakening is about. And that recognition has to come in some way where you got a little whiff of the fact that there is freedom, that there's something other than what you're stuck in.
So, this is Sadie, and I just had to share that little clip of that episode from Ram Dass. It's the episode 187 called The Mechanics of the Mind. And I just was listening to that today, and our topic today is about thoughts and our minds. And I just felt like that was so important to share, that most of us live in that reality of, reacting to all the things that happen in our mind. And we do just go on throughout our days, just go with all the things that are happening in our mind and never stop to reflect and, create space to think about our thoughts. So anyway, that's our topic today. So, yeah, I just wanted to intro with that.
I think it's a good one.
Thanks.
Hi, guys.
About it.
Hey. Hi, I'm Jessie.
It's Elena.
Yeah, and one of the things that he said, too, which I really love, is that if you think you're free, no escape is possible. And I love that so much because, honestly, if we believe that we have no issues, how can we grow? How can we learn? How can we expand our minds and be better people if we think we have no issues to begin with? It's like you need to be able to examine your issues and your thoughts and your feelings in order to grow and learn from them,
And take responsibility and
Right.
step into them.
Right.
Kind of like we were talking about last week. Instead of running as much as we all want to run.
Yeah.
Step back into it.
Right.
Deal with it. Take responsibility. Maybe I am the one causing the issues in my life. I mean, I have issues with this neighbor, that neighbor, my husband, this person at work, that person at work. Well, who's the common denominator?
Right.
Yeah. I think, too, it's just the beginning of even understanding consciousness.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Because that's your subconscious mind just going.
I mean, how often have you just driven to work and then you pull up and you're like, how in the hell did I get here?
So often.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, like with me, I have 2 cell phones, one work phone, one personal phone, and it seems like sometimes I can't even get a thought in. Everything's a reaction because it's a phone call, a text, a screaming kid, you know, just all this stress and anxiety constantly pouring in that in my brain. It's just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
relax. Like, I just need a second to think.
Yes.
Like, I can't even think right now.
That is so true. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So something else too that he said, like later in that episode, he just said, I like the part when he started talking about awakening and like we have to awaken, you know, and when we start down our awakening path, something that he said is something that can help you awaken is to take in other people's consciousnesses. That's such a hard word to say, but consciousnesses. But just reading books of authors that are like doing the same type of consciousness work so that you can begin somewhere, so that the thoughts that they have can create, you know, ideas for you of where to start and where to begin. And I don't know, I really love that because I feel like when I get in these mindsets of just like running and thinking, you know, of all these different thoughts like he was just speaking about, I never know like where to start. I get so stuck in all of the thoughts and all the things I need to be doing and all of this stuff that like when I just can stop and like do something good for myself, like go read a book that I know is going to help me learn something, then I feel like I am more able to like have something to focus on. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sometimes it's as simple as just stopping to breathe.
Right.
I mean, that's what meditation is, really.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Meditation is kind of a woo-woo subject to a lot of people. I have a hard time with it. I don't do good at, like, sitting there trying to breathe. But in daily life, I do pretty good when I can tell I'm getting frustrated and angry. I can kind of be like, okay.
You're not, like, just reacting.
And, yeah. Like, I can tell myself, okay, you're acting crazy. Relax. Chill. And then breathe. And then focus on your feet. Like, have you guys heard of the holistic psychologist?
Yes.
She always says, think about your toes. What are your toes doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now move up to your legs. What are your legs doing?
I
So
love
you can kind
that.
of like place your thoughts back in your body instead of
Yeah.
all the chaotic,
You know,
crazy cloud above.
People that have like panic disorder or even just like people that struggle with anxiety, they always say to do like the 5 sense thing. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it's
Oh yeah,
called
the 5
exactly.
senses.
What is
Yeah, I don't know.
it? Yeah. So you like smell something.
Mhm. What do you see? What do you hear?
Yeah.
Taste something.
Taste something. Yeah, and I think it just like all comes back to being present.
Yeah.
Right.
In your body.
Yeah. And in the moment, and not like in your head.
Right?
Even though it's a really hard practice. She's amazing though, the holistic psychologist. If you guys don't follow her on Instagram, you should.
Follow her.
You don't?
No, I
She's
don't.
so good.
Really?
She's
Yeah.
she just wrote a book and released it. She was on New York Times bestseller list. Like,
Oh my gosh.
she's amazing. But she just released yesterday how your subconscious mind creates your reality. So I thought this was good because she put it in terms that I would understand. So from birth to age 7, the subconscious mind is formed with core beliefs about who we are, who other people are, and the world around us. The subconscious mind controls the functions of our body: heart rate, temperature, how we breathe, our mental functions, how we think, our impulses, and our habits. The subconscious mind works to confirm our core beliefs in our environment. What we think about and believe to be true is filtered through a bundle of nerves called the reticular activating system. The RAS, reticular activating system, validates our pre-held beliefs or reality. This is why when you start to think about a car you might want to buy, you start seeing that car everywhere. That car was always there, it's just now it's being filtered into your awareness. Tell me you haven't experienced that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, 95% of our day is spent within our subconscious mind. This is why we can do our tasks like washing dishes, driving to work, or making morning coffee without actually being conscious. So much of what we call our reality is actually our subconscious mind confirming pre-held beliefs. Understanding our subconscious mind lets us train our mind to expand or see new perspectives and truths based on what we think, consume, and choose to believe. So it's a choice. With practice, our RAS starts to pick up new things in our environment, allowing us to experience reality we have, but we consciously build. So
I love that.
I feel like that was kind of like the full runaround of it in terms that we could understand. I mean, you think from birth to age 7, us little people, I look at Cash, she's 5 now, and I'm like, that was me. And sometimes I judge myself for how I acted those times as an adult, but like, I was a child, you know, and we were all kind of told, okay, this is what you believe, this is what you do, this is what you do on a Sunday, this is what you don't do on a Sunday, this is how we act, and this is not how we act, and if you act like this, you're this person, and if you act like that, you're that person. So we don't even know who we are. We've been told who we are. So we operate in ways that keep feeding into that same
cycle.
Yeah.
Almost.
It is a cycle that we're trying to...
We don't know any different.
Yeah, we don't know any different.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, it's just like trying to make... You know, I think what we're all working on is trying to awaken our subconscious mind and make the subconscious conscious, right?
Yeah.
So that we're aware of what's happening. I think that, you know, a lot of the time, like, we let our thoughts just run and we're not even, like, aware of them. So, like, bringing awareness to your thoughts and just being aware of them without attaching to them is becoming conscious. You know, you're becoming conscious of your thoughts so that they're not just going and controlling your whole life. You know what I mean? You're not just reacting to them every single time you have a certain thought. It's like, I think that's what meditation really helps to do, is to help you become aware of your thoughts. And yeah.
Yeah. Something I was just thinking about is basically our thoughts aren't who we are. And I know you were talking about, like, attaching to your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's just, like, something to keep in mind, because it can kind of be coming from, like, anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like, a little thought will just pop in, and sometimes we're like, oh my God, I'm, like, horrible, or I'm depressed, or even,
right.
I don't know,
I'm so judgmental,
yeah, we
and
like,
this and
we
that.
like attach to it, but it's literally just a thought, and
We don't
it's
have
not,
to make it
like,
anything.
true. Yeah. It doesn't have to be true unless you feed it more attention and believe it and make it true.
Right.
I heard this saying once that a thought is like a seed, and every thought that you have, you plant it, but you can choose to water it or not.
Yeah.
So if you have a negative thought and you plant that thought and you choose, oh, someone cuts you off in traffic,
Yeah.
you plant the negative seed of, oh my God, people suck, I hate people. Then you water it with, God, people have been treating me like this for days. Oh, I freaking hate my life. And then you just, like, plant
Spiral.
negative thought after negative thought and look at it as water drops into that little seed. Well, eventually you have this big-ass negative tree that's grown in your head.
Right.
The world's out to get you. Poor pity me. Everything sucks in my life. I'm going to go home and eat half a gallon of freaking ice cream because my life sucks. I might as well go home and eat like shit so tomorrow I can feel like shit. And it really does
You spiral.
Yeah.
And it's so much harder to get out of when you get to that point. And if we can just, like, learn to stop when you have the negative thought and notice it and be like, oh my gosh, I'm having this negative thought, and be the observer of that thought, not attached to it, then that thought can slowly pass by. But when we put, like, extra energy into those thoughts, then that's when we can spiral, you know?
Yeah. Well, I am, like, an overthinker.
Yeah.
Not so bad anymore, but I think I used to really, really struggle with it when I was younger. I would have to call my mom to help me make, like, any decision.
Yeah.
Like, any, like, stupid little decision. I would literally call my mom and be like, Mom, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's how big of an overthinker I was.
You, like, lose
That's
yourself.
That's how my sister is the same way.
Yeah, thank God I don't even know how I've really broken out of it. I haven't thought about that enough. But, something that my mom used to always tell me when I would overthink is just, like, you can always ask yourself, like, does this require my immediate attention? Because I think when we're overthinking, we're like, this is something I have to solve now. Like, I have to figure it out right now. But a lot of the time, it's nothing, like, urgent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe it is something that you need to deal with, but you always can ask yourself, like, do I have to deal with it right now? Like, do I need to spend my energy on it right now? And if you don't need to, you can tell yourself,
like, okay, I'm going to make time to think about this later, but I'm not going to like think about it anymore for this amount of time or for today. But I'm not just forgetting about it, because that kind of helps yourself calm down. Not just pushing it aside. I'm coming back to it later.
So do you journal?
I actually don't, but I love writing.
Yeah.
So I've journaled since 6th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what journaling would do for me.
Yeah.
It was a release. I remember even as a young kid, I would write things down, and I was like, okay, I can come back to this, and I literally wrote down every single detail so that if I need to in the future, I can come back and read it and be fully in that moment again.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
But right now, I don't have to go to bed with it. Here, have it.
I love that.
I
Put 'em on
don't
the
like
shelf.
journal like religiously, but I do, I guess, like write when I'm feeling a certain way.
There you
when
go.
If I'm like too in my head about it,
I
then
was
I'm
just
like,
gonna
I
say
need to
that.
like write this down. And honestly, I can't like do it on my phone. I don't know if you guys are that.
No,
way.
writing is a
Just
whole
a
different
little
thing.
side note.
Writing as a whole.
I feel like I have to physically be like writing it
Because
down.
you're releasing it, like you're moving, you're into it. You can feel it going through the pen.
Well, it's like a flow. It's
It
like,
is. It's a flow, literally.
It is. When you get in this, like, for me, I journal the most when I'm overthinking, because I'm also an overthinker. And when I get in those states of overthinking to where I start to lose myself and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do I even focus on? Like, I get so lost. If I can just sit down and write it out, whatever is coming to mind, and just like journal and flow and just let it all come out onto the page, then I can actually, once I've got it all out, sit with myself and be like, okay, this is my intuition and this is how I actually feel, rather than having all these thoughts spiraling you into all these different emotions. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about too, is like, we attach emotion to our thoughts. It's like, you know, you have any certain type of thought and you feel a certain type of way about it, and then you attach to that feeling, and then you feel shitty the rest of the day. Or, you know, if it's a happy thought, same thing, you know, we attach like our emotion to our thoughts. And so I think sometimes that can really make us spiral, or sometimes it can be a good thing, you know.
Can I just say, I love like reading through what I wrote when I'm like overthinking.
Yes.
Like going back and reading through it and being like, oh, that's actually not true.
Right.
Like I just was like in the moment.
Spiraling.
And sometimes you have to just like say it or write it down to actually look at it and be like, wait, no.
I do that all the
That's not
time.
even true.
Even like when we started, I just was, sometimes I'll open it and be like, what was I doing this month of last year? And then I'll read it, and 90% of the time I have some little excerpt of like wisdom in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I had it figured out then.
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing now?
Honestly,
you
like,
know, like,
I think that's your intuition. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I really feel like it's your intuition coming through. Like, you have those moments of actually writing something down that really resonates with you and that you truly feel. And it's like what you were saying about going back and reading through all of your, you know, your thoughts, to read back through that and be like, oh my gosh, like, I was just spiraling at that moment, and this one, oh my gosh, I actually still really believe that. Like, I think your intuition is in there somewhere. Like, you have those thoughts too. It's just sometimes they get so lost, you
they
know?
get clouded by the darkness and the negativity. Like we were talking about last week.
Right.
It can get heavy, and it's the seed. You sit there and water the negative seed, and then you have a million things to worry about rather than the one you were, and then you can't pull yourself back out. And so it's like, it's tough.
And they always say it's like a choice to be happy.
Yeah.
Right? And as like cliche and mainstream as that is, I think it really totally is a choice
Yeah. I think so
to
too.
be feeding the thoughts that are actually true for you, and just like kind of detaching yourself.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Right. It is
From
now.
the ones that aren't true
Detaching.
and aren't for you, you know, and they're just like a little thought, and
Yeah.
just letting them go.
Right. I also want to say, like, as we're talking about this, like, negative thoughts and positive thoughts, if you have negative thoughts, it's okay too. Like, have compassion for yourself that you're feeling. Right. It is not possible to have negative thoughts. That's also something we talked about last week, is like holding the dark and the light. Like, you have to have all of the things in between as well. You know, it's like, it's normal, it's human to have all of these thoughts and emotions and feelings. It's just, honestly, if you take one thing away from today, just try to work on not attaching to your thoughts.
Yeah.
And
Or just notice them.
Yeah, notice.
Just
be the
notice they're
observer
there.
of your
Observe.
thoughts.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I love that. And that's something that meditation really helps to do too, you know? And like you were saying, Elena, like even my mom, I tried to mention like meditation to her, like you really need to meditate because she's so go 24/7, she's not even grounded ever. And I'm just like, you need to just like meditate and give yourself some space to just breathe. And like people say, oh, I don't like to meditate because my thoughts are just running. And it's like,
It's hard.
that's what meditation is. Like,
Can I say something?
Yes,
about that?
please
I wrote
do.
this down. I put monkey mind is normal. You guys heard of monkey mind? That's what they call
Yes.
it in meditation.
no, I have.
It's normal in meditation, and the point is not to have no thoughts because that's not possible. Like
Right.
we're going to have thoughts no matter what.
Right.
And you guys might have to help me explain this a little better because when I wrote it, I thought I don't know how it sounded.
Okay, yeah.
But I said the point is to be in enough like flow or almost like relaxation or just like in the present moment to oh my gosh, sorry, this is not
You're
working out
good.
good.
No, I have
you're
like
good.
a statement too that I heard that really helped me
Okay.
with meditation. So I can
Okay,
say
cool.
that too if you.
Well, let me just finish this
No,
really
yeah,
quick,
if you
and then
lose
you
your
guys
place.
can tell me, you guys can refine it a little
Yeah,
bit.
go
But
ahead.
I just said that's not possible, like to not have any thoughts. The point is to be in enough flow or relaxation that we aren't giving our thoughts attention necessarily, and we are actually just present with our breath, our mantra, or just like with the moment, basically.
Yeah.
I love
So I
that.
think people get so frustrated when they meditate because they're like, oh, I just couldn't stop thinking today. And the point isn't to stop thinking, it's just to
Yes.
like be present, basically.
So,
You know?
yes, this segues perfect
Yeah.
into this little statement. It says, when we use meditation and follow the breath, we are focusing on the mechanics of the mind, not the content. That was like, damn, yeah, that hits home, you know? It's so true. It's like you can't, yeah, like you were just saying, you explained it perfect. You need to just, you did, for
Today
real.
it came out a little choppy, but
That's okay.
Yeah,
You know?
you know what I meant.
Chopping
Yes.
like our thoughts.
Yeah, right.
No, I
Bring
judge
it back.
myself when I meditate. I'll be like, oh my god, you're laying here on your bed with your eyes closed. You're a freak. Like,
See,
what are you
and
doing?
That's part of it. That is part of it, is noticing that thought too.
Yeah.
You know? Just letting it all happen and having your compassion for yourself in whatever's happening. So, yeah.
I need to think more positive.
Right. It's so true.
Yeah.
And then that's a way of like putting yourself down or whatever.
it
You know
is.
what I
That's
mean?
What I was gonna say. I know I said earlier about
Yeah.
like choosing to be happy. I don't want to get that confused with just like I feel like there's like this weird toxic thing of
Be positive.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where of course we want to like be positive, but I feel like there's like a lot of shame that goes with that whole mindset of
Yes.
just like positivity. Because
Yeah.
we're like judging ourselves for ever being like human and having a negative thought.
Exactly. And,
And
if you're
it's not possible.
right. And if you're constantly trying to be positive all the time, then you're pushing down all of the negative feelings and you're not allowing them to be there. And it's
Yeah.
important to have all the things, you know?
But you can also try to have a positive outlook for things and say, you know what? Just because I feel shitty right now and I'm not performing at my best, I will in a
Yes.
couple days or a
Yes.
couple weeks. Like, I'll come out of this. I
Yes,
just
that's
need to be down
exactly-
right now and have compassion for yourself.
Yeah. And then that's choosing, right?
That's choosing.
To
I
be
was-
happy and not feed into like those crappy thoughts.
One of my best friends, whenever she hits a low point like that, she says, I just give it 4 days. I tell myself, okay, you can be down, but you're going to be down for 4 days, and that's the max. If you wake up on the 4th day and you still feel like shit, get your ass out of bed, take a shower, put makeup on, do your hair, and get out of the house. Like, you're done.
This reminds me of that podcast we listened to about high-fiving the mirror every morning.
Mel Robbins.
Yes. You know?
I did that the other day and it felt so weird.
It is
I
weird.
went up and I was just like, you got this. But I was crying and it was just so like harmonious. And I was like, yes.
Well, it's a thing of like just shifting something in your mind to be like, yes, I got this. Or like
Self-compassion.
high-fiving yourself. Yes, it's
Your
just
own
like,
friend.
we're going to have a good day. Like that simple morning thought can change everything, you know?
really does.
And something else I was going to say too when we were talking about like having those negative thoughts and positivity and whatever, I think there is a way to slowly shift your thoughts where when you have the negative thought, like this is something I've learned, I can't remember what podcast it was on, but when you have that negative thought pop up, be aware, notice the negative thought, but then immediately think of the opposite of that negative thought. And make yourself just think that. Even if you don't believe it, think the thought of like, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat. Let's just say that's one, okay? I'm feeling so fat today. Immediately have the thought of, I actually look really skinny today and I'm so beautiful. Even if you don't believe it. Like thinking that, you know, little tiny shift, I feel like will change your thoughts. And eventually you'll start believing the things that you're saying and those negative thoughts won't creep in as often. I think that's a good way to...
Retraining your subconscious mind.
Exactly.
Because you have core beliefs of core beliefs. Like one core belief I had that I worked through recently was that I was gross. And it stems from being abandoned by my dad when I was a kid. Right. So I always had this core belief that I was gross. Like even today, Jessie, when you touched the side of my face because you were looking at my scars, I was like, oh my God, she's touching my face. And that core belief came back of, I'm gross. Why is she touching my face? There's no way she doesn't think I'm gross.
Oh my gosh.
It's a trip. It's weird. And so I've told people that and they're like, what? And I'm like, wait, so you don't think I'm gross?
Yeah.
But it took me so long to get over that thought that would just pop in. It still pops in, but now I know.
You're aware.
I'm aware. Oh, that's not me anymore. That's not real. It never was. I forgive myself for feeling that way for so long, but that thought doesn't serve me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm over that.
And can I just say, you even having the awareness of that is the healing.
Yeah.
Like you even just being aware that this is one of my core beliefs, you are healing through that.
Yeah.
Just being aware.
Yep.
Like it's that simple, you know? Just noticing. Like it can change everything.
Even just in like regular non-healing life, like what therapists say, I feel like is just like basically once you're aware of the problem, like that's half the problem, or that's like more than half of the problem.
Right.
So it's just becoming like aware.
Right.
Which is what our whole podcast is about. Awareness, consciousness, stepping in to just noticing what in the hell you're thinking, and that you don't have to be that way or think that way or like act that way any longer. I can think of so many people in my close-knit family that are just so on autopilot, so close-minded, and it's so hard not to get frustrated.
Right.
But it's like, God.
But
that's their experience.
For me, I always am like, it is frustrating, but I have like so much compassion for them because I'm like, it's like so sad.
It's
you know,
sad.
like you don't want them to like end their life like never being aware, never like being conscious and realizing there's more to life.
But I think some people just aren't ready yet.
No,
and that's what I have to remind myself too, because I also get frustrated. And I'll go through waves of like being so frustrated with people and then having compassion, then being frustrated again and having compassion. Like it's all, you know, you go through waves of it all. But like, I think some people just aren't ready yet to focus and realize their issues or realize things they need to work on. They're just not ready. And that's their experience and their choice, and you just kind of have to...
It's their soul.
That's their shit.
It is. Know? It's like a whole soul.
It is.
Karmic.
Right. Yeah. I want to get more into that kind of stuff. You know that, Sadie, you know that blue book you have that's written by Corey Allen?
Yes.
It's like the mind is the master, or become the master of your mind or something.
I can't remember what it's called. It's in the other room. I might have to go grab
He's amazing. He posts a lot of good stuff too on Instagram. He's good, but he posted something along those lines that said, though, that kind of struck me. It was like, if you judge people for not working on themselves and healing, then you're not as far in your healing as you think you are.
Right.
And when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. I need to step back. Yeah, it humbled me, and I was like, okay. Like, so I think about that all the time, and I'm like, I need to stop being so angry with people, instead just hopefully try to be a better example myself.
Right.
To them.
See, but you even being aware of that, like what you were saying, and being willing to look at it a different way is the healing. Like, you're already doing it, you know? It's like, I don't know, sometimes I think that we feel like healing is such a big thing, and how am I ever going to get there, and you know, you have this certain place to get to, and that's not the case. It's just these little tiny steps, you know?
It's just daily awareness.
Right.
That's what healing is.
Right. And
conscious choices for the future.
Yes, that's something that I wanted to say too, just to all the listeners, is none of us have it figured out, okay? We are all still learning. We are all still every single day bringing awareness to our thoughts and our feelings and all the shit, okay? that we are not all healed. We're healing. None of us are fully healed, and I don't think anyone in the whole world will ever be fully healed. You're always learning, you're always experiencing, noticing. It's, it's a process.
Oh, yeah.
And have compassion for yourselves. I just have to say that.
Yep.
And this is just our experience. What we're talking about is how we experience these things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, being nervous in the world lately and like all the negative vibes and energy like we were talking about last week that's sitting here right now.
Yeah.
It's scared me lately, and I've thought I've stepped out of it several different times, but then I keep returning, and it's just... Anyways, the other night my husband and I were talking about it, and he said, you realize though, like our time here on earth is just a short time. Like our soul goes on, and why not just make our time here the best we absolutely can, even if the world's crumbling around us?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I have been living like when I die here, I'm done. I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's not the case, but I wasn't aware of the fact that, holy shit, my soul is actually going to go on.
Yeah.
This is a short period. Let's have fun. Like, quit holding everybody else's stuff and the world's stuff. Like... This is how we heal the world. It's by healing ourselves. Our souls are going to go on. Let's have fun while we're here.
And being present.
And let's be present. Let's be aware. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to be any of those things. But I will continue to be those things if I'm those things to myself.
Yes. I love that.
You know?
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah.
I was just going to say,
We all just give a big
Hell
yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. I had something I wrote down that I want to see. Oh, I just wanted to share like a little experience of me, like with my thoughts. So let me write. Okay. So something for me, this is just my own personal experience, but like my whole life I've had like a really, really hard time crying. And over school this weekend, I kind of had this awareness around my thoughts and not allowing myself to cry. So it's almost like I'll begin to cry, like I'll be feeling sad or something, or I'll feel like really touched and I'll start to cry. And I'm starting to notice my thoughts when I start to cry. My thoughts immediately like come in and they're like, oh my gosh, why are you crying? Like, suck it up. All these thoughts of like my dad or my parents being like not validating that I was feeling a certain way. All these thoughts flood in and immediately my tears stop. And it's like for so long I've had such a hard time crying because I wasn't aware of those thoughts. But, over the weekend I really am trying to sit in that feeling of those thoughts, and like I was saying, I'll begin to cry, then the thoughts will pop in of, why are you crying? And I always feel like I have to have a reason for crying. And it's like, wait, no, you don't. Like, I'm feeling this way. I need to let it out, But I'm trying to really just allow myself to, like, sit in the feel. It's
like
hard to
any
describe.
feeling?
So when I start to cry.
Okay.
So I'll start to cry, and then I have those thoughts flood in, and I'm trying to allow myself to like sit in those feelings long enough while still crying to like let them pass so I could let the tears flow. Does that make sense? Yeah. But it's so hard, but it's just like being aware of those thoughts and trying to hang there a little bit longer so you can get some information about why you feel that way, or really try to work on healing those thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know why I felt like I needed to share that, but that's just like, a way that...
the world's biggest crier, and I always have been, so that's funny to you like mention that, because I feel like for me it's like the opposite, but I do like know the feeling that you're talking about at the same time,
right?
Because for me there's sometimes when I want to cry, even though I already do cry a lot. I'm like, I just need to cry today, and then I can't cry, and I hate that feeling.
See, I get stuck right there. It's like I tell myself I have to have a big enough reason to cry, and it's like,
totally.
You don't need any reason to cry.
But those are like my core beliefs of...
Well, isn't that weird though, how like every single person is different? Like my dad would always tell me when I would start crying, like, don't cry, like this is not something to cry about, and I just couldn't help it and would cry even harder every time he would tell me don't cry. And then it would, like, soften him up so much to where he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Just let it out.
Yeah.
You know? But
That's
for
just-
you,
yeah.
it just totally, like, shut you off.
It
And I
shut
think
me
that
down.
is what happens to, like, a lot of people. But we all have, like, our own.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so true.
That brings compassion back up, because even though we're all sitting here around this little table, we're all having the same experience, but we're all having a completely different experience because of how we've gotten here. I mean, how we've gotten here today, but how we've gotten here in our past, 28 years? Are we all
Yeah.
28?
I'm almost 28.
Yep.
Dang, youngster over here.
We're probably like 6 months apart. When's your birthday?
May.
Okay, mine's in January.
We have the same birthday.
Oh, yeah!
actually.
Oh,
the 20th, January 20th. Yeah, me and Jesse are exactly a year apart.
all of a sudden?
Yeah, what the hell?
We always talk about it too.
Hey,
and
I
just
know.
totally,
That's
like,
what
forget-
happens.
Jesse, just wait till you're 28 in 6 months,
No,
and you
I
will
keep
just...
telling everyone I'm 28.
Yeah,
I don't know
see?
why.
Because we're getting older. It
Yeah,
sucks.
you start to
Oh,
just
I'm
lose
28.
it. Yeah.
I don't even know how old I am.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, like talking about all of us having our own experiences. Yes, me and Jesse have the same birthday,
Yeah.
and we're both Aquarius on the cusp of Capricorn. Whatever, okay? Like, I believe in astrology, but not to the point where it's like everything.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's just a little piece of...
It's fun.
Yes.
It's a fun piece that
But-
kind of guides you.
Right. But even though me and Jesse were born on that same day, you know, a year apart, we both are similar, but
really
we
similar.
also
We're really
are so different.
I don't feel like we're really different, but we do have, like, a lot of...
Our own little things. Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know if other people would see that we're similar, but we know
Yeah.
how similar we
It's like
are.
the way our mind works is very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way we, like, work through things, too.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Do you
So
guys have
anyway.
any other thoughts about thoughts?
Let me look on my little list here.
Every time I've said thought today, I think of the other thought.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember that?
The other thought. No?
How they're, like, in rap and stuff, they're like, thought.
Oh, thought. That thought.
That, like, what is it again? That hoe over there.
Uh-huh.
When I figured out that's what it meant, I got a little more respect for thought. I was like, yes.
We're all thoughts over here.
I don't know why. Every time though that I say thought today, I keep thinking of thought.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
It's a good episode name.
Yeah, there you go.
Thoughts.
Thoughts on thoughts.
Love that.
On these hoes.
Thoughts on thoughts. Thoughts on awareness. I love that. That might be a good one.
Well, I mean, I don't really have any more things to talk about. I guess we can go into our card that we pulled.
Yeah.
Let's do
Does that sound good?
Yes.
So every episode, we just want to pull a card for the collective. We pulled it from my deck. It's called Oracle of the Hidden World by Lucy Cavendish. So I just really love this deck. I feel really connected to it. So we pulled a card before we started the episode. We haven't looked at it yet, so we're going to look at it right now. Let's see what it is. Oh, beautiful. It's number 21. It says Homeward Traveler. Completion, reunion, and return. I'll leave it right there. You guys can look at it if you want. Okay. You have reached the stage of your journey where much of the hard work has been done. You have traveled far and gone through many tests and dangers. There have been moments where you feared you would not make it, and wondered whether this journey was worth facing the trials and finding a way through the obstacles. You could have stopped so many times along the way, but something within your soul called you onwards, and so you kept moving in the direction of your goals. There was much risk, and now comes the reward. For you are being guided through the last stages of the journey, and there can no longer be any doubt that you are, dear friend, heading in the direction of your true home. This home may not be a place or even people. It could be a state of being, a place of balance and love that is found within. It could be a place in the outside world, a home you have longed for and now are close to creating. Or it could be that you have been through many struggles and suffered, and that now there will come a time of peace, of harmony within. You are returning to love, to a place where you can most truly be yourself, and this will bring reunion, completion, and a sense that you have found where you are meant to be. There's a little mantra to keep in mind. It says, I am finding my way to where I am meant to be. Home is within me. Ooh.
Oh, I love that.
That was pretty beautiful
Oh,
for our
and-
topics of thoughts, too, you know, like going within. I really love that. So, yeah.
I think that card is like really relevant right now, honestly, just because we've been going through so much as a collective.
Yeah.
And I think it is like a completion to like one phase of where we're at. Like, we're definitely not at the end of all of this, but I do feel like we're finally like completing at least one
We're leveling
one
up.
of these phases, yeah.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be calm for just a little bit before we move to that next crazy period.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love that. I totally believe that. And it's just the little steps, even if we've only made one little step, you know, in our, like, collective, I think that we are moving towards, like, a better world, as dark as all the things are in the world right
That's
now.
why all this darkness is happening.
Right?
That's
So
what
the
I
light can
believe
shine.
for sure.
I believe it too. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yep.
I just hope that this rung on the ladder, the level, is pretty for like a few months.
I think we have until the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like, well, the beginning of next year for it to get a little shitty again,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yay!
That's just my prediction. I
Yeah.
don't really know, but that's like what I feel. I think next year things are going to start to get a little crazy again.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of unexpected
Yeah.
and unknowing right now of like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's scary and intimidating, but in the same sense too, this is just a small little part of what our soul's doing. So,
For
Yeah.
sure.
like, once this is over, we're onwards and upwards. Grandma kept saying that today when I talked to her. Onwards and upwards. Just be still. I'm like, okay.
There you go.
Yes.
Grandma, thank you.
I'll remember
Love those
that.
words of wisdom. Oh, I love that. Okay.
Cool.
Well, on
Should
that
we
note,
move into our next little segment?
Yeah.
What's it called again?
oh, our one sentence win.
Yes.
Jessie.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, in the past couple weeks, like,
Shit.
what have you been doing? You feel like you've had any amazing wins?
If you want someone else to start, we can.
I just feel like I gotta think about it.
Okay.
Think about it. Yeah,
I
you
can
start.
start.
saying.
Yeah, I need a second.
I think my one sentence win is, it's never one sentence. I guess that can just be like, you know,
Weekly
start a
win.
segment.
Start it with one sentence.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
And
And
then
then I
just
can expand upon. So, like I mentioned before, I had school this weekend, and I think that is my win. Like, I am really proud of myself for, you know, going on this journey of becoming a spiritual healer. That's the goal, you know. Our 1 year is up in January. That will be like our 1 year of school, and it just like went by so fast. But like thinking back to when I started school, I was so intimidated to commit to something like this, especially because I have a child and I have so much going on in my life. Like, how am I going to find all the time to do school? And like, the school has just been so perfect for me. I only have class like once every couple of months, just for Saturday and Sunday, and it's just, the schedule has just worked out so perfect, and I'm just really proud of myself for committing to something that will further my education and ultimately just like help me experience more of reality and, you know, be more seated in myself and who I am and my purpose. So yeah, I'm really proud of myself for that.
Yeah, that's
mine.
a good
Good
one.
for you.
Thanks.
That is a good one.
I don't know if I can go still.
Mine,
You have
I
one?
would say, yeah, mine would be the fact that a week ago, Sunday, I made the choice to step back into my physical being and take better care of myself, because I was spiraling for so long. And I think a lot of it had to do with the way I was lacking in taking care of like what I was putting into my body and like content I was consuming and things like that. And I was aware of how it was negatively affecting me, but in the same sense, I couldn't stop. It was like addictive behaviors. Yeah, I was binging and just doing things that that made me feel good in the moment, but then like, yeah, they weren't making me feel good. So I made the choice to stop, and now it's like, it just clicked, and I was like, well, that's not me anymore. I don't know who that person was, but I'm also not judging that person. I was stuck for a minute, and I'm sure I'll get stuck again, but for now, this week, I'm good, so.
And you're ready.
I'm onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. Thanks, Grandma.
Thanks, Grandma Rose, for that.
Oh, I love that.
I think mine is probably... I feel like I've been really compassionate towards myself the last couple of weeks. I've been like so sick, and it's been really frustrating. But I have just allowed myself to like slow down. I don't know why I'm so emotional about it, but I do feel emotional about it because I am just frustrated with things right now. But I think kind of the same as you. I've been just like focusing even more on what I'm putting into my body. And also I have been like using my energy in different ways that are more compassionate towards myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like instead of watching TV and stuff, I've been like reading a lot more, and haven't been like getting upset with myself that I need to like take time just to rest. Like sometimes I get so annoyed because I'm like, oh, I can't work out today and whatever, and I literally haven't worked out in like 2 weeks now because I've been so sick. But I haven't been like beating myself up over it.
Good.
So that would probably be mine. Yeah.
I love that, because you will get back to it. It's just
I
right
will,
now you're stuck, and that's fine.
Even like I beat myself up over like not spending enough time like taking my dog out or like getting the laundry done, and I've just kind of put like everything on hold until today was like the first day I've been feeling better, and I actually like cleaned everything and I took my dog out twice. But it's because I actually had the energy to do it. Like sometimes I'm so hard on myself and I'm like, gosh, you're just being lazy or you're being a baby, because I get sick like so often. I get so annoyed of like just laying down, you know. I'm like, gosh, you need to like do more, but I've just tried to be a lot more gentle with myself, and just instead of like going against, like fighting reality, I'm just like
stepping into it. Well, I believe that if you don't give your body a break, your body's going to force you to give it a break. That could be part of the reason why you get sick so often, is because you're constantly go. Your body's like, well, screw you. You're going to sit. I'm going to force you. I believe that.
I was just going to say, too, like, if you were to not have given yourself that compassion to just rest, you'd probably still be like really sick.
You would.
So I'm proud of you for doing that for yourself.
It's hard to sit in it though. Like usually I do. I honestly do. I always have to. But this last time around, I'm like, no, I just want to like keep going, and I just couldn't. Like I ended up taking like 2 days off of work even. And it's all good.
You're onwards and upwards.
Yes,
now. You
onwards
cleaned your house
and upwards.
today. You took your dog out twice. Like,
God,
that first day back, it feels so good.
the first day is the best, right?
You finally feel like you have a leg to stand on. I love that.
Me too. Well, onwards and upwards, everyone.
1, 2, 3.
Onwards and upwards. Have a good week, you guys.